tornado circulation here just outside of Springfield, Illinois.
It was an EF2, high on that scale, and that it had set down in the community and had a 5.5 mile track, and an EF2 tornado has 125 to 135 mile an hour winds. The picture was that, you know, this is a residential area that had a lot of trees, and I mean, virtually all the trees, power poles, were snapped, some of them just 6 feet tall off the ground, and all those trees and you know, building debris from homes scattered and strewn about the area. You know, it's just a sight that, you know, you can't really put words to.
Some of the immediate challenges for responding to the tornado was, you know, the disaster area, how many people are impacted, the time of day that it was at, what kind of, you know, resources don't we have, what is needed. And so one of the greatest things that happened that evening was the fact that almost as soon as I was on the phone when the tornado was hitting with our command post with Chief Bangert and Emergency Management Director Mike Mose, as fast as they were responding, I was receiving a phone call from Brad Shivey with the Laborers Union of the Laborers Disaster Response Team.
We left here, mobilized to Sherman, and that's when we found out that a subdivision a mile and a half from my house had suffered severe damage. And when we got there, it was tough to see because it was the middle of the night, it was dark, and so it was, you know, we have the unfortunate position where we go into those disaster zones and see firsthand what a tornado does to a community and to people's lives.
What was the most memorable moment for you during the response effort?
Definitely the arrival of the 80-man crew from the Laborers Disaster Response Team. When those guys showed up, then you knew everything was going to be okay. I knew what they were capable of doing, but whenever they come rolling in 80 deep with all these trucks dropping people off and then leaving the scene after they dropped off a pickup truck full of people, really provided that sense of relief and encouragement that we were going to be able to get this under control fairly quickly.
Having 80 volunteers with chainsaws, with the operators with, you know, backhoes, skid steers, excavators, all these different pieces of equipment that the small town of the village of Sherman does not have. And not to mention, you know, our public works staff, they're second to none. I'll put them up against anybody, but we're a lighter staff and we get all of this done. We do all these various things, these great things in this town with minimal staffing, and, you know, but when you have an event like this and the challenges are manpower. You know, you need people and boots on the ground, especially those guys that have, you know, the wherewithal and the ability and the training to be able to remove large trees off of houses, to be able to go out on that property, to be able to, you know, clear areas in record time. And here's this group of individuals, they're volunteering their time, they're not even getting paid for this, coming in, offering up their services and clearing the area. And what they did that evening was unbelievable, and we can't thank them enough for everything that they did.
So we put out a request in the community for assistance, and we got nearly 40 people to show up, and the day they showed up was a windy, cold, miserable day, but they all showed up and basically worked all afternoon. We're a tight-knit community as is, and for people to come up and volunteer their ATVs or bring food or say, what can I do to help, or the donations that were made.
Local businesses, restaurants, churches that fed workers, volunteers, utility people, so that they could be out there and continue to do their job. The United Community Bank had opened up their community center for people to be relocated from the area so that they'd have a place that had power and to be able to, you know, sort out what their next steps were.
We've been on 13 disasters, 8 tornadoes, and I've never seen a community ever that embraced our deployment and the men and women of our organizations the way they did. It's the first time we've been on a deployment where the community was serving these men and women warm food. You know, most people, they're not cognizant of the fact that if there was a tornado, there's inclement weather. And they're in the middle of the night, and it's cold, it's damp, it's dark, it's dangerous. In the village of Sherman, every step of the way, the professionalism was like nothing we've ever seen.
I would like to express my appreciation to, first of all our own first responders and volunteers that came in to assist during this event. By doing so and doing what we're trained to do, I believe we're able to provide the service to the community that was expected. I also want to thank the village board for jumping in and participating. Some of you might not realize it, but they actually went out and made phone calls to every resident in the affected area to make sure that they were okay and to see what their needs are so we could address it as soon as possible for them. Then of course I want to thank the mutual aid and neighboring communities that came in at our request to assist us. If it wasn't for that type of assistance, we wouldn't be able to manage the event as intensely as it went. And then finally, I want to thank the utility companies for coming in.
I just want to say thank you very much to everybody that came out and responded to the incident and helped in the way that they could. We had many police agencies respond and help out with our side of things, as well. I know the fire department did as well. We had local staff here through the village, public works, emergency management, village administration, and elected officials that all got their hands dirty on this. They all helped out and tried to help those residents that were affected. Also a big thank you to the Sheriff's Department. They were integral in our initial response. There was many brown uniforms out there to help out.
And I want to take this last opportunity to speak to you directly, all of you volunteers, all of you police and fire, all of you administrative staff, all of you emergency management personnel. As the mayor of the village of Sherman, Trevor Klatfelter, also speaking on behalf of the entire village board of trustees, speaking on behalf of the citizens of the village of Sherman, nearly 5,000 citizens, you know, parents, grandparents, children, everybody. We want to say thank you for always having our back. I want to say thank you for all of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. And most of all, or equally, we want to say thank you for everything that you did starting March 31st, when we were faced with an F2 tornado that hit our town, and the days after that. And thank you for getting us back to normal, restoring our livelihoods, restoring our lives, you know, helping improve getting our property back to what it needs to be. But just thank you for always having our back. Thank you to, you know, the labor's disaster response guys and gals that came out and worked through the morning hours and came back out again and again. And your commitment and volunteerism cannot go unthanked, and we want to say thank you. We're so appreciative of you. Same with police, fire, everybody that had a hand in this. So as mayor of the village of Sherman, I can't say it enough. Thank you for everything that you've done.